Nice to have you on the program, News Across Nigeria.
Thank you very much for this invitation.
All right, so you heard it from that report. Even though we see some progress already in the talks between your union, ASUU, and of course the federal government, but what do you think about this newly established, or should I say inaugurated, renegotiation committee? Your reactions when you heard this?
It's a huge joke. It's a joke. And it's disheartening that we have to embark on another round of strike for government to constitute a committee to renegotiate an already renegotiated agreement. I think this government is not serious with tertiary education in this country. And one is beginning to marvel at the attitude of the Minister of Education and what is really doing in that ministry. Look, for goodness sake, we had a renegotiated document since May 2021. And that took series of strikes, including a 9-month strike in 2020, to get to that point. And now in February 2022, government is constituting another committee to review and renegotiate, and then another 3 months. So if students remain at home for another 3 months, Nigerians should have government and the Minister of Education to blame and not ASUU. Because of course, our union will be meeting at the weekend. And of course, we make its position known on, all of this development. But the fact remains that this government, and indeed those who superintend on education in Nigeria, are toiling with the future of the Nigerian masses.
Now, of course, we do know that over time, over the years, government, keeps coming up with this rhetoric that, in view of the scarce resources that is available to it, and some of the demands being made by ASUU, probably it will not be able to meet up with some of those demands, and so there has to be some kind of a compromise, a common ground, a midpoint somewhere, But it keeps lingering for several years, and of course, the students are always at the receiving end. But some others have said perhaps there's another twist to it, some kind of political twist to it, because 2009, that's quite a long time, and we're now here in 2022. You hear government saying, oh, perhaps the government that was there at that time, made these agreements, but the reality is, it's a different ball game, even in this present day and age. What do you have to say to that?
Well, one, government finds money to do whatever it wants to do, including ostentatious and frivolous expenses. Only recently we heard that $1 billion was donated to a country outside Nigeria. So if a government can donate $1 billion, I am sure the entirety of what ASUU and other unions in the university are asking for, it's not up to $1 billion. That's one. Number two, you signed an agreement in 2009. In that agreement, there's a provision that either of the party can call for a review within 3 years. You can count for 3 years between 2009 and 2022, which means that if we go by what government itself signed, that agreement ought to have been renegotiated 4 times. So we have gone on series of strikes to get a renegotiated document in May last year. And now government is opening another round of renegotiation. So that tells you, the kind of government that we have and their attitude to the education of its citizens. And of course, how, importantly, they hold Nigerians who are their principal, who voted for them to be in those offices. But let me say that our union remains undaunted. And this time around, in line with all of, the suggestions that we have received from members of the public, our union is poised to compel government to remain on strike for as long as government is prepared to do what is right for the first time. And like you can see, our union is now being vindicated. If after 13 years, you are just setting up a committee of 7 to review what has already been done, to renegotiate, and all of the 4 terms of reference that I read, it's just a joke.
So where does this leave the union? I mean, because we understand that the 1 month one strike was indeed to be meant to be a rollover strike. Will this continue? Well, from what you've been saying, it does appear it's going to continue. But we have to consider, the students.
Nigeria
they are the ones at the receiving end. Yeah.
No, we are also at the receiving end. We go to strike with great pains. We miss our students too. We miss our research. Today's students will be tomorrow's lecturer. But we have to do what we are doing today so that we can guarantee the future of the Nigerian university system. Like, do a statistics. Go into our classrooms and ask our students how many of them wants to be lecturer when they graduate. Even the best brains will tell you that they don't want to become lecturers. Are we saying that in the next 3 years there will be nobody to take over from us? Then we would have failed as a nation. And that is the bigger picture that we should all look at. If Nigeria cannot attract its best brains to the university, then that country is doomed. And ASUU is insisting that, if we were attracted to the system, we also should be able to attract the best amongst our students to become lecturers tomorrow. But with the kind of emolument that we get in the university system today, no best brains will remain not only in the Nigerian university system, but indeed in the country, because majority of us now are beginning to look for greener pastures out of this country. And that's a doomed signal for the future of the country.
It's even worse where we have so many students going out of the country, to receive education. I mean, you saw what happened with the issue in Ukraine, and so many of them are coming back. And
that is the symptom of a deeper malady. If we had a sound education system, that will not be the case. And that's why ASUU and Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, should continue to struggle to save Nigerian education from the shackles of these hawks who are in government.
Mr. Dele Ashiru, Chairman of ASUU, University of Lagos chapter, we thank you for your thoughts on News Across Nigeria.
Thank you very much for this invitation. It's a delight to be here.